Wow, the caption says biggest game in 30 years. So true. I'm pumped. It is. I mean, when you look at this game on Sunday, and let me tell you something. This is just the beauty of what we're in now as Miami Dolphins fans. It's something we've never had before. Okay? We don't know what big games were like. We don't know what real meaningful games were like. Do you know why? You've never had a meaningful team in the last 25 years. How do you like them apples? None of your teams meant shit. No Wildcat year, no Jay Ajayi year, none of the Ricky Williams years, nothing. It didn't mean shit. Nothing. Crap. It was just a little overachieving team that had a little decent season, but really you weren't going to make an impact in the playoffs and you weren't going to win anything because you weren't doing any of that since the 80s when you had the potential of doing that, when you even got to a couple Super Bowls, when you got to AFC championship games all the way up until the early 90s, very early 90s, and then it ended. And once Buffalo took over the division in that part of the 90s and took off, then the Dolphins went into a funk that they never got out of until now. So it's been 3 decades where we get to say this is now the biggest game. You know, in those days it wasn't ever of the franchise or because you had the 70s and all that, but you were talking about another huge game with major implications. So now in the last 30 years where you've accomplished nothing, where the teams that did win a little something really meant nothing anyways, because they were nothing teams that were going nowhere anyways and had no hope whatsoever to win any kind of a Super Bowl or any kind of a conference championship or anything like that. This one does. And this is what I've been telling you since the offseason. This team has it all. It just needs a little luck. And I'm not talking about luck. Oh, the ball bounced your way. Oh, we need no. I'm just talking about injuries. Because every team needs a little luck and injuries, and we've had way too many injuries as it is. I hope that this is kind of now the run where now people come back and get healthy and stay healthy for the remainder of the last few weeks of the season and into the Super Bowl. And this becomes the biggest game of the year. And then next week becomes the even bigger game because then it becomes the division, the number 1 seed. You lock all that up, and oh my God. And then you've got a week off, and then you can get, I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but what I'm trying to tell you is you're building a crescendo. And that's what we're building up to that crescendo. And so this is a beautiful thing that this is the most important game we've had in 30 years. Because the meaning behind this game, the number 1 seed beating another great team in the Ravens, another playoff team. You're a playoff team. You beat a playoff team last week. You'll beat a playoff team this week. And if next week you can beat not just a playoff team, but your divisional nemesis. And so now it becomes the division. It becomes the number 1 seed. And it becomes taking down your nemesis. Holy shit. It becomes so much sweeter. So get ready. That's the beauty of this ride. The ride gets bigger. The dips become more dangerous. The clocking of the next hill, and you're like, holy crap, this is an even bigger hill you're climbing. And then another ride. It's beautiful, man. This is what we've wanted forever. That's why I was talking yesterday about the perceptions, and you can go back and listen to it, how the perception of the Dolphins is completely wrong. But yet they paint the picture one way for the Ravens and the Dolphins another way when it's actually not true. And you can go listen to that. Same thing here. This is the picture, and this is what we wanted. games that matter, games that have so much meaning, not just the season, historical meaning for your franchise. And when you think about something you haven't accomplished in decades, you got a shot at a number 1 seed? Are you kidding me? Which puts you in the driver's seat and an opportunity to you're 2 games away from the Super Bowl? Shit, dude, come on. We haven't seen anything like this in decades. This is fun. This is what I want to be a part of.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.